up, YouTube? This week there really wasn't anything major going on in news. It's the same old baloney. I want to talk to you a couple things before I get to your video reaction in B-rated movies. First is I did watch the new Aladdin. There were so many things wrong with this movie. You shouldn't even bother and waste your time. It was poorly done. People were right. All the people I heard complaining about the CGI effects. They CGI'd Will Smith as the genie so bad. It was terrible looking. He looked ridiculous. Number two, I understand that Disney cartoons come with musicals. It's just been that way, always been that way. But when they're doing these live action movies, they really need to get rid of the musicals. I'm not a big fan of musicals. Because the actors, they cannot sing. The girl who played Jasmine, she could sing. However, the guy who played Aladdin and Will Smith butchered them songs. They cannot sing. Will Smith can rap, but he can't sing. The third thing, which is kind of minor, I'm not sure if the Aladdin guy is actually Indian, but I know the actress was a white girl that played Jasmine. And they should have had an Indian play that part, period. I hate that gender swapping and race swapping crap. It's retarded. I hate that crap. PC culture crap. But anyway, the other thing that was bad about Aladdin was the Cave of Wonders, finding the genie and fighting Jafar was literally the only thing that had to do with the Disney cartoon. The rest of the movie, 80% of the movie, was all about Jasmine, not Aladdin. It was about Jasmine. Because she was whining because she thinks that she needs to be the new sultan. It's not fair. She should be in control of everybody and tell them what to do. Literally, that's literally the whole movie. Is her whining and complaining, wanting to be in charge of everything. She wants to be the new king or soul. You know, regardless of the fact that she has no experience and she does not know anything about being a sultan or running a kingdom. Oh, she read some books. Woohoo! That makes her like perfect for the job. You know, it was retarded. She whined and complained through the whole movie. Somewhere, you know, I knew that, you know, with Disney, they're going to find some SJW feminist agenda and crap to throw into them, all their movies. And they did it with this one too. It was dumb bad. It was really bad. And, you know, back then, you know, in those times, the time setting that they were doing it in, you know, women did not, for the most part, you know, it was very rare a woman would be, you know, in charge, be the leader. It just didn't happen very often at all. There were just a few exceptions. So, I don't know. Don't bother watching the movie. It's not worth your time. But thumbs down. Aladdin, terrible. Moving on. I told you I'd give you an update on Ghost Whisperer. I just got finished watching Ghost Whisperer, all 5 seasons. I am not a big fan of Jennifer Love Hewitt. I do not find her very attractive at all. You know, she got blown up, you know, when she did the Trojan War movie. the little teeny bopper movie, and everybody thought she was the biggest thing in the late 90s. But in this show, she's Miss Priss, you know, dainty, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, she's dealt with ghosts all her life, but they freak her out all the time. They still freak her out all the time. She wants to tell everybody what to do. She's very bossy in this movie or show. She's real bad when she does it to her husband. You know, his opinions don't matter. She's always right regardless. She's like that with everybody. She's always right. She's never wrong. And when she is called out on it in the show that she's actually wrong, she flips it to make it look like she was actually right. Now, it's just whatever. Whatever. So dumb. I like the whole ghost thing. I'm into paranormal shows. The rest of the actors were fine. Jennifer Love Hewitt, no. Terrible. Terrible. For most part, most of the rest of the show was okay. Only thing that really bothered me about most of the show, besides Jennifer Love Hewitt, was, you know, they had, I don't know, I think it was by the 4th season, her husband comes back into another dude. Spirit jumps in another dude's body, and, you know, he looks like this other dude, but she, you know, it's her husband, blah, blah, blah. It was weird. That part was weird. And by the time you get to the 5th season, they're married now. She's married this new guy who knows that he's actually Jim, but he's in this other guy's body. However, they don't, when they're talking to other people, even, you know, I can understand the friends or whatever that's close to him. She calls him Jim all the time, even though his name is actually Sam. But they don't tell people in the 5th season that he's Sam, only in the 4th season. So it makes no sense. That was weird. Anyway, if you get past Jennifer Love Hewitt, the show's okay for the most part. It really bothered me. They didn't do any, like, you know, they're finding all these dead bodies, but they're not really helping the police that much, but a few times. And it's not, it was more based on drama. You know, she never runs across any killers that try to kill her, but maybe once or twice, I think. Most of the time it was all about, hey, let's just boo-hoo and cry our eyes out while we send somebody into the light. So, like I said, it was okay, but it wasn't really my cup of tea. If you're into that kind of thing, go ahead, check it out if you want to. Just know it's over-dramatized. And I'm not a big fan of over-dramatized shows. Okay, moving on. One last thing I want to talk to you about, and then we'll get to the video reaction. The Walking Dead has decided to come out with a 3rd series, another spinoff. I liked the first one. I was a big fan, especially the very first season. Best season, hands down. The rest of it was okay. It was a rinse and repeat show. At the end of the season, you know, the dead would crush the place they're living at with the survivors, and they'd have to go find a new place. You know, they boarded it up, defended it, and then they'd find a group, another group somewhere else of survivors, and then they'd fight over resources or something. They just, for some reason, they always end up fighting. Dead come in at the end of the season, destroy everything, everybody has to run away and find a new place to live. A rinse and repeat show. They did that on every season. I stopped watching about season 4 or 5 when they found the group of survivors in the small town that bordered the small town, and they kept finding outside of the town, they kept finding zombies with numbers carved in their head. That's the last season I watched. I was getting tired of it by then. I tried watching Fear the Walking Dead. It was okay, but once I got to the second season, it was like they're down in Mexico, and now it's all Mexicans on the show, you know. I was like, what the fuck? This is a Latino version of Walking Dead, you know. So I couldn't watch anymore after that. This new series, I think people are just not going to give it that much of a chance because they're bored with The Walking Dead. It's literally the same crap over and over again. But we'll see. So without further ado, let's move on and get to our video reaction. This is a fact acceptance and a feminist cringe video. So let's get on it. Let's keep this shit real.
What are you doing? You in the U.S. right now? You're protesting the most peaceful, free country in the world. Are you telling me it's peaceful when cops shoot people?
And I ooh.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
I think it's pretty good. Like, definitely better than whatever Trump is proposing. I would make that leap right there. So.
What if I told you this actually is Donald Trump's tax plan, not Bernie's?
You got me.
Gotcha, bitch.
Kill all men. I am sick of being a baby factory that produces more men that will just, in the future, subjugate me. So the only answer to that is to kill male babies and kill any man that you see, like in the streets,
nobody
like
likes feminism.
Just kill them.
Period.
Because
you ladies, I believe
we want
in feminism,
the species
practice feminism,
to go on,
you need to stop
but we want it only to go on with women in it. So that's what we have to do. That's the only way to keep the human race going.
Made in that march yesterday was that we were marching because Donald Trump has said very clearly that he plans to roll back reproductive rights for women by appointing a pro-life Supreme Court justice. One of our mission statement's main points was that we were marching to defend reproductive rights for women, because when you can't control your own body, you cannot
it's not about
have a free say over your contribution to the rest of the society
don't get it.
And your participation in the economy.
It's not about controlling your body.
And our mission statement also talked about the rights of
standing up for the rights of the baby that you're killing.
You just said. You said you condemn Madonna saying, or you didn't name her, but you condemn anyone who wants to commit an act of terrorism, but you defend her freedom of speech.
If you
it's
don't
not freedom
want
of speech to say you want
children,
to blow up the White House. That is a direct
plenty
threat
of ways
against
to
the life of the
prevent
president.
Whether you mean it or not.
You try doing that at an airport anywhere in the world, you will be arrested, you will be jailed. And she was representing this march because
women
she was
need
put
to stop
on an
using
official
abortion
platform. So again, I say to you,
as a means
you can't defend freedom of speech when it's about blowing up the White House.
But there's
you say you don't have control of your own body. Yes, you do.
This conversation a lot more
either don't have sex or use contraceptives.
Denigrating the march and talking about rape and feminists, saying it was all a load of rubbish.
I didn't mention the
march.
You
don't want a baby.
So you have talked a lot about the march.
You didn't mention the march before the day of the march.
You have talked a lot about the march in terms of how stupid it all is. And so
I didn't say stupid.
And so
I said
can I finish my point? Because we're in another situation where you're shouting at me and not letting me talk.
No, you just want to keep talking and don't want to allow a man to have his say.
Yeah.
Now we're getting
from the belief that I had to be thin to be happy. And so in that moment, all of my hope was extinguished.
It's physically draining, mentally, emotionally taxing.
Damn.
I am very tired of how my life is right now. And I just can't live like this anymore.
Why people
I just can't.
So getting into the car is painful and challenging, and I barely fit. this size because I dieted for 20 years. I gave up dieting because it was a loser game for me. It made me fatter. It made me incredibly unhealthy.
You're an idiot.
That just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit.
But come on, I ain't gonna never be ready.
1, 2, 3.
If you're starting to get overweight, obesity is a real disease. It is a serious problem.
There we go.
It's not.
And I'm coming up.
Okay.
It's not a joke.
There you go. All right.
I told you my foolishness works sometimes.
Letting yourself get that big, it's just ridiculous.
1, 2, 3. Little bit.
You're literally killing yourself, eating yourself to death. It's terrible. But yeah, it's terrible. You shouldn't let yourself get that big. That's just absolutely awful. But yeah, they should stop doing that. You know, telling people, you know, it's okay to be. No, it's not okay to be huge. It's unhealthy. It's very bad. You're killing yourself. You know, them large plus size models like Tess Holiday or whatever. Seriously. You're preaching the wrong message. You're telling people it's okay to go kill themselves, to eat themselves to death. It's wrong. It's terrible. It's terrible. Anyways. Alright, movie holics, let's get on to your B-rated movie reviews. This week, we switched it up and we went with horror. I even went a little bit further and did a subgenre. We're going to do insects. Horror movies about bugs or insects. It's been known that there's just been tons of movies done about bugs or insects, giant ones, small ones, whatever. A lot of people have natural phobias about some of these. First one we're going to talk about is a movie done in 1977. It grossed about 2.5 million domestically. It didn't do all that well. It starred Joan Collins, you might know her from Dynasty, and Robert Lansing. He was pretty popular in the 70s as well. It's based on, I see H.G. Wells' name and what's the H.P. Lovecraft all the time. They've got so many movies done or based off their work. This one was based off H.G. Wells, and it's called Empire of the Ants. Like I said, it was done in 1977. All the movies on this list are from the 70s. Anyways, Empire of the Ants. The acting was okay. It wasn't too terrible bad. Basically, the story is about it looks like Joan Collins and this other guy, they're trying to sell like condos or something on this island. And Robert Lansing, he's the boat fare. He drives the boat. Anyways, he takes a group of people over to this island, so Joan Collins can show them all this property and what they plan on doing there. Nothing's been built yet, really. They just have like markers of where everything's going to be, so they're kind of, it looks like they're trying to con these people. at the very beginning of the movie, you see them dumping toxic waste into the ocean, just some type of corporation or whatever. One of the barrels land on the island, and the ants get into it, and it mutates them, makes them giant ants. So for the first half of the movie, they're just running away from these giant ants. The giant ants kill like half the group. They get to this town that's on the island, and the town is just weird. They're weird. The town folks. They just, something about them, just, you tell something's off. So they decide that they're going to make a run for it and try to get out of the town. The townsfolk, the sheriff and his deputies stop him, and come to find out they're producing all this sugar in this sugar factory for these ants to eat. Tons of it. The people find out, the tour guide people, they find out that the town has a queen ant in this factory, and the queen ant is spraying them with like these type of pheromones that is some type of mind control thing or whatever. But they eventually blow up this manufacturing plant of sugar and kill most of the ants, including the ant queen. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. They ride off in a boat at the end of it. Yeah, like 4 of them I think are left. They ride off in a boat at the end. That's the end of the movie. The acting was okay. The acting wasn't bad. It was cheesy, of course, but it wasn't horrible. The only part that really got me was, you know, when they're showing scenes where the giant ants are killing people. It just looked really bad. It looked terrible. You tell it was like a puppet or something. It was bad. But other than that, the acting was okay. The story was okay. If you like cheesy horror flicks about insects, go ahead. It's not horrible, but it's not really the best either. Moving on. The second one I want to talk to you about is called Kingdom of the Spiders. Now, this was also done in 1977. It actually did fairly decent, though. It brought in 17 million at the box office. So for back then, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too shabby. This one and this is the reason why, and tell you right now, this starred William Shatner. He was huge in the 70s and early 80s. It starred William Shatner, and it had someone named Tiffany Bowling in it. She was the lead actress. And you can't tell me, when I watched this movie, you can't tell me that they didn't kill some of these tarantulas in this movie. They had a bunch of tarantulas. Everyone was freaking out about tarantulas back then, you know, how scary they looked and stuff. You can't tell me they didn't kill some of the scenes where they're running cars over them and the people were trampling all over them and stuff. You can't tell me they didn't kill some of these spiders. I call BS. I know they hurt some of these spiders and killed them. Anyways, the whole movie, William Shatner's this, I'm trying to think, you know, a pet doctor. I can't, for some reason, the life of me, I can't think of what they're called right now. Damn it. Anyways, a veterinarian. That's it. Veterinarian. He's a veterinarian. this guy, he comes in, he tells them, hey, you know, my cow's really sick. Can you check him out, Doc? And he says, sure. So he, at the beginning of the movie, he checks out this cow for this guy. The cow dies. And he says, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened to him. I'm going to send some samples to university and see what they say. They send this woman. She says, which is Terry Bowling. She comes up. She says, I want to check this farm out because this calf died of freaking an insanely large amount of venom from a spider. Of course, William Shatner, he don't believe her, so he takes her out there to examine. Well, they find that the guy's dog is dead, and he says there's a whole bunch of these spiders on this mountain. They check out this huge mound. It's just filled with tons of tarantulas. They try to burn it, but that doesn't work. There's literally thousands of these mounds with tons of tarantulas. Eventually, they come into town. They kill everyone in town. Shatner and a few others, they're all trapped in this lodge or whatever, this inn, and they got to try to survive these spiders. But at the very end of the movie, it shows them look out this window or whatever, and not only is the lodge covered, but the entire freaking town is covered in webs. So everybody's trapped in these cocoons of webs. And that's the end of the movie. It was a different take on the whole spider genre. You know, spiders usually don't win, but in this one they did, which is kind of cool, actually. So it was actually a pretty decent movie. The acting was all right. It wasn't bad at all. And the story, naturally, you know, tarantulas being aggressive and trying to kill everybody, it wasn't really, you know, true to what in life, you know. But, you know, other than that, you know, it was actually a pretty decent movie. I liked it. I give it a thumbs up. If you like cheesy horror flicks, you know, it's a pretty good one. It's not bad. Okay, moving on to our last one, which was done in 1976. I didn't find any box office numbers on. I couldn't find anything. It was called Squirm. Now, Squirm starred Don Scardino and Patricia Percy. They were two main actors in it. Jean Sullivan was also in this. She's an actress that was really popular in the early 50s. She was real big back then, and she's in this too. But anyways, this show is basically about worms. This movie is about worms, killer worms. This town ends up having a big storm. Electricity breaks the power lines just outside of town, and it's shocking the ground, causing the worms to go crazy. The main story is this guy from outside of town in a city. He comes to visit, which is Don. He comes to visit Patricia, which plays the redhead in there. And man, do they make these people sound Southern, especially Patricia. Boy, does she sound like a Southern belle. I mean, big time. Anyways, regardless of that, that cheesy type of acting where they're talking real Southern belle like, hillbilly like. Anyways, Don and Patricia find these dead bodies. They keep finding these dead bodies. The sheriff doesn't believe him. There's one sheriff. He's real cocky. He's kind of a dick. He keeps threatening to lock up Dawn and Patricia if they don't stop, coming up with these fabricated stories about dead bodies. But every time they go to show them a dead body, it's been moved or disappeared because the worms have eaten it up or something. At one point, they have this one guy who has a crush on Patricia. He takes one of the skeletons because he's going to sell it or something for money. But anyway, the sheriff don't believe him. These worms, I don't know, they get into this, to the guy who has the crush on Patricia. He goes crazy, tries to kill him. The worms start killing people in town. Patricia and Dawn, toward close to the end of the movie, they're in Patricia's house. It kills her mother. They think it kills the sister. The guy who's had the crusher, he tries to get in there. He's got worms all over him. He tries to kill him. The worms are everywhere. They climb out on this tree and hold up for the night, hoping they could stay there until the sun rises, because the worms don't like sunlight. They'll go back into the ground, which does happen. Come to find out, the sister survives, and then this guy shows up at the very end. He sees them in the tree and he tells them everything. They've hooked up the power or whatever, fixed the power lines. They're no longer shocking the ground, and he couldn't get a hold of anybody in town. He just happened to see them out there and figured they could tell everybody. Now, and that's the end of the movie. That's the way they leave it off. Literally, they come down the tree. The sister's inside the house, and they go inside the house with her, and that's the end of the movie. So they left the ending off real bad. I didn't care for the ending at all. Other than the fact that they talk all hillbilly, the acting wasn't horrible, but it wasn't that great either at all. It was watchable. It wasn't really that bad of a movie, I think. There's just some elements that were a little off. Like the town. The town was creepy as fuck. You seen them, where the hillbillies are cannibals and they're trying to, the whole town's killing people and shit. It had that kind of vibe, but the town wasn't like that. But that's the way they came off. It was really, the town people were creepy. The movie wasn't really that bad. It wasn't too bad of a story. I say check it out if you got the time. You won't be disappointed. It's not too bad for what it is. You just got to get past some of the, mediocre acting, But other than that, it wasn't a bad movie. It's pretty good. Anyways, those are your B-rated movie reviews, and if you have any suggestions or you think there's something you want me to check out that I might not have ever seen, leave a suggestion in the comments down below. Tell me what you think about my videos, what I might be able to do better or something like that. Go ahead and leave your suggestions, comments down below. I look forward to those. Anyways, I told you you'd be told the truth, and you just been told.